Hey, welcome back to ZK Mastertech. Well, the fun just keeps pouring in this spring. Here we got a 9100. Whenever you first start it, the engine goes to wide open throttle, but not only does it go to wide open, it goes to way wide open throttle because it'll go to 2800 RPMs whenever you first fire it up. Giddy up, right? Okay, let's fire this thing up, see what it does. Holy smokes. Yowza. So this thing's kind of been a problem child for us, and it's had the pump off, I think, 3 or 4 times. You know, it had the last known Regen new fuel pump installed on it, and I've had the pump off once myself. Some other guys have also worked on this thing. The last time I worked on it, I went there, just took the pump off. We sent it to a pump shop. They said everything was fine. I put the pump back on, started up, and it was fine. And then all of a sudden it started acting up again. So now we've got it back at the shop. And I included this in a video one time and talked about it, and I started it and I showed how it revved way up. I can't figure out what video I put it in because I know somebody commented on there they had that same issue before and had a fix mentioned in a comment before. So if you're watching again, drop a comment below. Let me know what you think of this thing. But I'm now going to go into the electrical side of things, even though I think it's probably the pump rack stuck in there, as I don't know if if there's electrical failure with the ECU or the wiring, if this thing would even be capable of hitting 2800 RPMs unless there was something failed in the electronic governor. I don't know, but I'm gonna check the wires from the ECU to the pump and ohm check them and load test them, make sure that's all good, just check all our bases. Okay, so we got this situation going on. Now I have to go on a service call. We're going to go look at a 9570R that's having a frequent automatic regeneration code. So the ECM measures the time between a successful completed regen attempt until the ECU decides to do another regen attempt, and that period of time is too short of a threshold according to the ECM. So we're going to go dive into that this morning, go on a service call. Let's get into it. Look, it's a Ford Danger Ranger being pulled by a tractor and a planter. What farming ingenuity is this? Hilarious. Why did the Massey Ferguson tractor pull a Kinsey planter and a Ford Danger Ranger? Because it heard horsepower was contagious and figured, why not drag along a little Ford for moral support and comic relief? That Ranger ain't planting crops, but it is planting doubts. All right, well, here's the 9570. Let's climb in here and do a little testing. Yep, that's the code we're setting. Is there any other codes? Nay. Okay, so I fired this thing up. I got to let it warm up a little bit to get the coolant temperature up because I have a sneaking suspicion that we have sticking turbo vanes. So on these Cummins engines, it's very important for the turbo vanes to function properly in order to get the exhaust temps high enough to do a proper regen. If the temps aren't getting high enough, then it's not going to fully burn all the soot to ash, and then the ECM is going to demand a regen too soon, which would cause the code that we're setting now. Since we don't have any other codes associated with that one, that makes me feel like we got something that is not allowing the system to get up to temp. So I mean, some common problems could be the turbo vanes, could be the fuel dosing injectors not dosing enough fuel. Maybe we have some face plugging on the DOC, but the most likely cause that I've got my money on is the turbo vanes, but in order to do a VGT hysteresis test, the coolant temp has to be high enough to do that test. So I'm going to warm this engine up and then I'm going to run the test. Okay, got the coolant temp up to 185. Let's start this test. Okay. Alright, so the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to run the fuel injector performance test. Uh-oh. That's not good. Let's try that one more time just for fun. Great. Let's run the fuel system leakage test. Shut it off. No, it should hold at least 3,000 psi in that fuel rail. It's dropping fast. Great. So basically it bleeds it off to nothing because that fuel rail pressure will, I think, only read about 200 to the lowest it goes. So it seems like we got a major fuel system leak. So now my assumption is we have some serious ash and soot built up in the DPF because it seems like we probably have some excessive fuel going into the exhaust, judging by the tests that I just did. So turns out the turbo's actually working exactly like it's supposed to. So I guess I need to start checking in with the high pressure fuel system leaks. So it could be an injector, it could be one of the injector nuts backed off, it could be a fuel rail relief valve. Lots of things that it could possibly be, but my best get is we probably have an injector leaking off. Alright, well, I told the customer what was going on, gave him his options. Option one, go back to the shop and get some more special tools so I could diagnose the leak in the high pressure system. And he decided he wanted to go ahead and run the tractor. They want to push it another 12 hours because they're looking for, you know, a rain to come in tomorrow. So they're going to go ahead and run the tractor. I mean, the worst that can happen is the exhaust filter can get plugged and cause a restriction code, and then if it gets bad enough, it'll derate the engine, then they'll be done. So hopefully it'll make it. Don't know for sure, but that's their decision, and I understand, trying to beat the rain. So I came back to the shop here, and probably going to work on the 9100, but I'm going to check in with the boys and see what they wanted me to do. But tomorrow I will be going back to the 9570R. They said they're going to have it in their shop so I can do some more testing. So let's see what's next. All right, so I'm going to get back on this 9100. I had to push this thing into the shop with a telehandler, and I would crank and start it just briefly and turn it as needed. And eventually it got to the point where it wouldn't even fire at all. It just cranked. So I unplugged the 6-pin and kind of looked at that on the pump. Plugged it back together. I'm gonna try and see if it'll even fire up today, so let's see if it'll start. All right, we'll see what you do. Nothing. Great. All right, so I did all the resistance checks according to service advisor on the diagnostic flow chart for the pump position sensor voltage low, and went through, did all the resistance checks on the 6-pin connector here. Everything seemed to be fine all the way back to the ECU, and then I decided, well, I'm going to go ahead and load test each individual circuit on this 6-way connector. Everything was fine until I got to pin F. Pin F, that wire is shorted to ground, so I was using a power probe, and I was bringing power probing at the ECU connector up to here to light this 55-watt headlight. And as soon as I put power to that circuit, boom, it tripped the circuit breaker on my power probe. And then I tested the resistance to ground on that circuit, and it is directly shorted to ground, 0.1 ohms. So I'm gonna snip that wire from each end and run a new wire, and just kind of run my leads with alligator clips to each end, just to see what happens once I fix that wire. But now I got to go on another service call. Ben was supposed to go work on this thing, but he had a doctor's appointment. It's a 2660 VT tool, and I don't normally work on discs. I usually work on things with engines, but I'm going, I'm a team player, so I'll go do whatever. And I guess we've got it had a fold problem, bent a hydraulic cylinder, snapped a shaft on one of the wheel hubs. So I need to put together a new shaft and wheel hub and load a hydraulic cylinder up in the truck, drive to the farm, and try to get that replaced for him. So let's get into that. Okay, well, change of plans again. I'm no longer going to go do this, but my boss wanted me to build this hub real quick so another guy could go put it on. So I got new shaft, bearings, hub, everything complete right there. There's the hydraulic cylinder that needs to go. So that's all ready to go. Now I got to go do something else. Now apparently I've got two 9R tractors down. I got a 9460R that I guess a bunch of stuff in the cab quit working. The engine will only idle. Basically that's all it'll do, is the tractor will idle. So we're going to go take a look at that. But then they got another call right after that of a 9560R doing the exact same thing. So if we figure out what's wrong with the 9460R, then we can probably go fix the 9560R really quickly. So let's get into that. Sorry for bouncing around, but this is how it goes this time of year. And we're here. There's the big bad girl herself. Tell me where it hurts. Whew, it's hot in here. Let's see what you do.
Like we're going to come back now? You better get your house in order? Emma didn't say that. Sharon didn't say that. No.
Everything seems to be working. Cab fans came on. They said the cab fans went out. Oh boy. Let's turn that off. see what all codes we had. Finally got up to 80 degrees today. It's pretty warm, especially in this cab. And open the back window. Get some air. Huh. Come on. Anytime now. Well, for Pete's sake. Load. Finally. Oh, we got a couple ECU codes active. Turbo actuator fault. Engine power limited. And the D-rate code. And that's probably a coolant level. Air filter is restricted. Oh, what's this one? Chassis control unit fault. Cab control unit fault. SCC. Yeah. Looks like a bunch of, I think 2139 is lost communication with the cab switch module and the ATC, the PDU, the RLC, and the RPT, and the SCC. Set that code. Lovely. Okay. Shut the back wall. It revs up. Engines and power D-rate. Okay, well, I hooked up Service Advisor up to this thing, and magically the ECU codes went away. I did a harness diagnostic check where it will check all the inputs and outputs on the ECU, and no turbo codes came back. Nothing came. No codes, no nothing. I started it up and ran this thing. Just sitting here, everything's working fine. So I mean, they're saying that the engine lost power, only runs 1700 RPM, then it went to an idle, and at the same time the cab blowers quit working in the cab. But I need some more information, I guess. Customer's going to come down. I'm going to call the actual operator and get the exact story from him, and I just need some more information, I guess. And if I can't get it tacked up, I guess we're just going to take it back to the field and see what it does, because right now everything is working like it should. So I did have some codes for the cab switch module. A bunch of other controllers said the cab switch module message was missing, which is a common code on this tractor. So, but usually it won't cause those types of symptoms. So I don't know what we got going on yet. We need some more information. We need this thing to act up. We can't fix it if it ain't broke, right? All right, we're gonna call this dude, the actual operator.
Hello.
Hey, this is Zeth with Sloan's. How you doing?
Who is this?
Zeth with Sloan's.
Okay, yeah.
Hey, I was wanting to get some more information on this 9460 because I can't get it to act up or do what you said it's doing yet.
Yeah, I just tried running through the field like I am right now, and it just went to idle. Fell on its face, went to idle. Then it didn't have a blower on the air conditioner or anything after that.
Did the corner post go dead or the armrest screen go dead?
Pardon me?
Did the armrest or the corner post go dead or anything?
Well, I mean, where you hit the snowflake or whatever for the...
Yeah.
It didn't light anymore.
It didn't light anymore. Okay.
Usually lights up.
Did the corner post on the corner of the cab, like where it shows your RPM, did that go off?
No. No, I don't think it did. No.
It didn't read dash lines or anything weird. It was reading the right engine RPM and stuff.
Didn't give me a stop or nothing like that on it. So Eric had me stop it and let it cool down a little bit, shut it off. When I restarted, I had RPMs again, but it wouldn't pull.
It wouldn't pull?
No. I mean, I could set and idle and keep getting more RPMs out of it, but it wouldn't pull.
Huh. Okay. It flash any codes at you or anything?
No. No.
Okay. Crazy. Alrighty, well, we'll look into it further.
Alrighty.
Thanks.
Bye-bye.
Okay, well, so I mean the cab blower's shutting off. I mean, usually if you lose power to the cab switch module, the cab fans will go to high and stay there. So I'm wondering if we're, but if we lost power to, I'm thinking maybe there's a power cable on the back of the cab. If we lost, power there, we would be getting, CLC and cab 158.01 codes, which is, low voltage to those controllers from the main power cable, and we didn't have any of that. So then it makes me wonder if, maybe it's just a grounding issue somewhere. So I guess while I'm waiting on the customer to show up, I think I'm gonna take the grounds off back behind the transmission and check those and clean them and see what happens. All right, back behind the transmission here. Took this bolt out for this ground, and it looks pretty icky. So,
oh, that's nasty.
I'm gonna get all that cleaned up. Took this thing about 100 yards away to the field. We're gonna run it and see what happens. Here we go. Maybe if this thing loses power, I can get it on video so we can know what the heck's going on. It's a beautiful day to work some ground.
Yeah, finally. But yeah, it started this morning. It was a little heavy. But I said, I could keep going. But at least we ain't got a lot of dust.
Pretty dusty. Yeah. Well, I'd be pretty happy if that's all it was a dirty ground.
Yeah, me too.
Then I could fix 2 tractors.
Yep. You know where to start now.
Yeah, well, we'll see. He said he had to work about 30 acres before it did it.
I haven't got the ends worked off yet. It's still rough here.
Yeah, it is. Boy, it sure is dusty. Pulls pretty hard right here.
Yeah, you can feel it ground.
Yeah. What's the deal with the windshield wiper rag?
Whatever reason, it broke or fell off, and my dad just put that on there to not scratch the window.
To not scratch the window.
So,
like, if it starts raining, you're only going to be able to see in one little tiny spot.
yeah, as far as I know, the arm's still good. Just need to put a wiper on it. You know off the top of your head what size that is?
I'm not sure.
Is it the same as the back?
Probably. I usually just look it up for the model, you know, and it just gives me a part number.
Yep. Well, man, I hope that did it.
Me too. Well, everything seemed to work cherry on it, so he's going to go ahead and run, and maybe I can go fix another tractor with the same problem. Alright, well, they sent my buddy Ian to the other 9560R with the exact same problem. So I guess I got to go work on a leak on a planter right after this. So I'm going to call my buddy Ian. You guys remember him? I worked on that X9 track assembly with him. I'm going to give him a buzz here and let him know about that ground.
Hey, Zach.
Hey, Ian. How you doing?
Oh, just peachy.
You still at that tractor?
Just left it. Why? I'm only a couple minutes away from it.
Well, I had the exact same problem on Sigler's, and
Yeah.
I found a bad ground on the right behind the transmission on the frame, left-hand side. It was completely rusted.
Okay.
So if that cap controller senses a fault on the wake up power circuit, it'll shut it down. It'll shut the driver down for that key cycle. So sometimes you can shut it off and turn it back on, everything will start working again. And then, you know, as that ground heats up as they're working, it might cause a problem again. So you might want to go double check that ground on the back of the transmission area, left side.
Okay. You said left side, back side of the transmission?
Yeah.
Okay.
But I would probably go back there and clean that.
Okay. I will do that.
All right, buddy. Let me know.
All right. Appreciate it.
You're welcome. Bye.
Bye.
All right. Let's go work on a planter. Well, I got rerouted twice since I last talked to you guys. So I was told that I needed to go work on a planter that had a hydraulic leak, and drove all the way there to, just about to make my turn. Boss texted me, said, nope, don't go there. Need you to go here to look at a 9230 that the hydraulic oil temp's getting too high. So I'm like, okay. So I drove another 30 minutes all the way up there, get just to the road where I'm about to turn. Farmer calls me and said, hey, I just seen you driving by, and just want to let you know that I got the hydraulic oil temp down to 205, and we're going to keep running. Okay, so they were getting a code for the hydraulic oil temp being high. That sets at 214. So they're at 205 and running. So I'm like, okay. So called the boss back, where do you want to go now? So then he sent me, I don't know, another 15 minutes down the road to look at a 7810 that the AC's not working. And hooked my gauges up to it, pressures were low. I went ahead and I put 2 pounds of refrigerant in this thing, and I got her blowing 40 degrees out the vents. But when I started, it wasn't blowing any cold air whatsoever. But 40 degrees out of the vents at today's 81 degrees outside, so that's not doing too bad. The low side lines frosted over real nice. So I'm just sitting here in the cab enjoying the AC at the moment, just letting it run, seeing what she does. So yeah. Hey, look, it's cycling. That line just thawed off. If you wait for it, it'll freeze back up again. This line right there. Starting to get frosty again. It's pretty amazing something can get that cold next to an engine that hot. Real frosty. Well, I think I found the leak. Went to take my low side gauge off. Not good. Great. Fixed. I give it a little tappy tap and it sealed right back up. Sweet. But check out this 7800. What a peach. It's got nice paint, new tires on it. Rick was showing me his awesome drawbar support he made. Check this out. It's got a chain from the 3-point down to an eye bolt through the drawbar to support it. Genius. Because this planter got some drawbar weight on there. What a great idea. Alright, so I made it home. Look who I found. It's my kids, Zaya and Zarek. Say hi.
Hi.
So I just went ahead and took the truck home because I was only like 10 minutes from home. So that was one day in the heat of spring on, you know, a day before a possible rain. So you get kind of thrown around everywhere, you know, run around kind of like a chicken with your head cut off. So you never know where you're going to end up. So got the 7800 cooling really good. It's blowing 38 degrees out the vents. Good to go. Tomorrow, so I'll probably, if it is going to rain tomorrow, it's going to change things. So if it is going to rain, I'll be going back to the 9570R. I will have 6 injectors with me and all the special testing equipment to see if we've got a high pressure leak in the fuel system, possibly replace the fuel injectors. So I got that going on. If it doesn't rain tomorrow, it's going to totally change things. You never know where I'm going to go because people are going to run their equipment right now until it absolutely won't go anymore. So you never know what's going to happen. So you push things to the limits, things explode. Go boom. So tomorrow ought to be interesting, but hit that like button, subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. It really helps me out. We're on the road to 100,000 subscribers, so I need all the subs that I can get right now. Comment below, let me know how I'm doing. And until next time, keep that green iron moving. Thanks.